As South Africa commemorated Youth Day yesterday, the Progressive Professionals Forum is calling on government to deal with the challenges facing young people. The forum says high unemployment, gender-based violence and drug abuse continue to overshadow the gains of South Africa's young democracy. Its president, Kashif Wicomb, joins us now to talk us through some of these challenges that young people find themselves in our country. Mr. Wicomb, thank you very much for your time. Let's start with your calls for public-private partnerships in order to find innovative ways that could lift young people out of this quagmire.
Thank you and good morning, colleague. Thank you for the opportunity. I think our message to South Africans, and we specifically say South Africans because unemployment is not an issue only which the state must address, it's an issue which the country in its entirety must address. Now, unemployment currently, as we all know, and I'll reiterate, sits at 34.5% in 2022. Now, according to the Quarterly Labour Force Survey Q1 of 2022, young people between the ages of 15 and 24, 63.9% of those young people are unemployed. Young people between the ages of 25 and 34, 42.1% of them are unemployed. Now, South Africa suffers from an issue where the state must sort out the issues of unemployment. The state must sort out the issues of transformation. That we as the PPF are saying that no economy, no country can be healthy if all of us don't combat these issues. And I think today then and this morning, we want to speak about what those interventions can be, where both the public and the private sector works on it collectively and individually.
Yeah, and what are some of those interventions, if you could give us perhaps your top three?
Well, first of all, I think that we must turn youth job seekers into job creators and enablers. And therefore, the state and the private sector must promote SMMEs and more specifically cooperatives, and I'll speak about that a bit more. Secondly, I think that we must rejig the youth to evaluate what they need to study. The artisan trade in South Africa has taken a dramatic knock over the past couple of decades. We don't have qualified bricklayers, we don't have qualified seamstresses, we don't have work their hands, but what we do have, university graduates who can't find employment, number two. Number three, and this is very, very key, we must encourage South Africans to employ local. And when I say employ local, we must say employ local South Africans first, employ foreign nationals who have working permits to work South Africa. It cannot be that we have unemployment for 4%, but we employ people who do not have working permits from other countries in jobs with youth and young South Africans can.
Well, that last point, quite a touchy one, if I could call it that, given what's happening, for example, on the N3. That's the route between Gauteng and the KwaZulu-Natal province. Truck drivers saying exactly what you are saying. However, the ways in which to deal with this, Mr. Wicomb, how does government deal with it, but also importantly, the private sector? The private sector, the employers there, they often get blamed for employing foreign nationals, which then sets local people or job seekers against the foreign nationals who happen to drive these trucks, if we could use that truck driving strike as an example.
You know, we must be very specific when we say employ local. I think, first of all, we are saying employ local South Africans who are qualified to do the job. And if it's entry-level jobs or jobs with low barriers, especially internationals, we are saying that where you do employ foreign nationals, it must be a scarce skill, which in fact is what is in the law. Secondly, those foreign nationals must have working permits. Now, with the issue of what is happening on the roads and the truck driver, that's a massive issue, only, and a pretty unique one, because truck drivers, of course, must the borders of Africa and cross into our neighboring states, and how one DPF are saying the private sector must start looking at the impact that they can have. And I want to use companies. A company must say, how do I employ people from the area which I service and the clients which buy from me? So if I am operating in Khayelitsha, if I'm in Soweto, then I must employ people from that area, because that money goes around and those rands are turned around within that local economy. So that is what we are saying as the Progressive Professionals Forum, in a matter which, of course, is very sensitive.
Yeah, Kashif Wicomb, let me end the conversation there. The line to you failing us as we taper down on this interview. He's president of the Progressive Professionals Forum, a very, very timely discussion given the state of our economy, but also importantly, the unemployment rate among young people.